How to fix technical issue. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, we are tackling a highly specific and frustrating issue where GTA 5 crashes during the loading screen when attempting to start a brand new story mode game, even though previously completed save files load perfectly fine. During our investigation, we discovered that this crash is directly tied to how the game engine handles custom modifications during the highly scripted prologue sequence. Our testing showed that the custom files corrupt the execution sequence of the opening mission, forcing a desktop crash. We tested every possible angle for this bug and compiled a comprehensive list of guaranteed fixes to get your engine running perfectly again. Teknobalta's analysis revealed that the most effective way to bypass this crash is to temporarily disable your modifications before starting a new campaign. Navigate to your main Grand Theft Auto 5 installation directory, where your custom files are stored. Locate the folder named Mods and rename it to Mods to effectively hide it from the game engine. Once the folder is renamed, launch the game and start your new story mode session. You must play through the entire first mission, which is the heavily scripted bank robbery sequence in the snow. After completing this sequence and reaching the first stable save point, save your game manually and exit completely to the desktop. Now that you have successfully bypassed the problematic introduction sequence, you can safely re-enable your modifications. Return to your game installation directory and rename the Mods folder back to its original Mods name. Launch the game again, load your newly created save file, and your custom content will function properly without triggering the loading screen crash. If you are still experiencing instability after applying our primary fix, our diagnostics suggest that some core engine files might be corrupted. You will need to verify the integrity of your game files through your specific platform launcher. This process scans your installation directory and replaces any missing or damaged vanilla files that your modifications might have permanently altered. A major culprit we identified for loading screen crashes is an outdated script hooking utility. Every time the base game receives an update, your custom script hooks become obsolete and will instantly crash the game upon engine injection. We recommend checking the developer repositories for these tools and replacing your old binary files with the absolute latest versions. During our deep dive, we noticed that heavily modified games easily exceed the default memory allocation parameters set by the developers. To fix this bottleneck, you must install a custom gameconfig file designed specifically to handle endless add-on vehicles and modifications. This modifies the memory pools and prevents the engine from crashing when rendering custom assets during story transitions. Alongside the custom configuration file, Teknobalta highly recommends installing a dedicated heap adjuster modification. The standard memory heap in this engine is strictly limited and will quickly overflow when too many custom scripts attempt to load simultaneously. Placing the heap adjuster file in your main directory expands this memory pool and heavily stabilizes the initial loading sequence. Our testing confirmed that exceeding the engine's hard-coded archive limit is another guaranteed way to trigger a fatal crash on a new game. You must install a packfile limit adjuster to double or triple the allowed number of active archive files. This ensures your custom texture dictionaries and 3D models load into memory without halting the executable. Sometimes the crash originates from a graphics application programming interface conflict within the user configuration folder. Navigate to your System Documents folder, open the Rockstar Games directory, and edit the settings file using a standard text editor. We discovered that manually changing the DirectX version value forces the game into a legacy rendering mode, which can bypass certain advanced graphical crashes. Over time, temporary configuration files can become disjointed and incompatible with your current modification loadout. Deleting the specific settings binary file forces the engine to generate a completely fresh hardware profile upon the next launch. This clears out any lingering graphical conflicts or resolution mismatches that might be interrupting the initial story mode render. We have consistently observed that the game sometimes lacks the necessary operating system permissions to read from heavily modified external folders. Right-click on your main game executable and navigate to the Compatibility tab within the Properties menu. Check the box to run this program as an administrator to ensure it has unrestricted read and write access to all internal file directories. Aggressive background security software can mistakenly quarantine your custom script files right as the game attempts to inject them into the memory pool. Open your Windows security settings or third-party antivirus interface and add the entire game directory to your strict exclusion list. This prevents real-time background scanning from intercepting and interrupting the crucial loading phase. Background overlays are notorious for aggressively hooking into the exact same rendering pipelines that the game engine requires to display graphics. We strongly advise completely disabling communication overlays, performance tracking overlays, and any active screen recording software. Removing these graphical hooks frees up critical processing power and prevents API collisions during the heavy prologue loading sequence. Heavy modifications require massive amounts of memory swapping, which can rapidly overwhelm your physical system memory. Open your advanced system settings in Windows and manually increase your virtual memory page file size on the exact drive where the game is installed. Setting this configuration to at least 16 GB provides a crucial safety net for sudden memory spikes during loading screens. The underlying scripts running your modifications rely entirely on standard Microsoft runtime libraries to execute their code. If these foundational libraries are corrupted or outdated, the custom scripts will fail to execute properly, pulling the entire game engine down with them. Download and install the latest all-in-one package for Visual C Redistributables to repair these critical operating system files. Windows naturally attempts to optimize full-screen applications, but this operating system feature often conflicts with the game engine's custom rendering techniques. Go back to the Properties menu of your main game executable and check the option to disable full-screen optimizations entirely. Our benchmark tests show this simple toggle significantly improves overall stability during high-stress loading screens and transitions. When rebuilding your specific setup after a crash loop, we highly recommend utilizing the strict isolation testing method. Install your scripts and custom assets in very small batches, launching the game to test a new story mode after every single edition. This methodical and slow approach is the absolute best way to pinpoint the exact corrupted file responsible for breaking the loading sequence. Corrupted graphical display drivers can frequently present hardware symptoms that look identical to software script crashes. Use a dedicated display driver uninstaller utility in safe mode to completely wipe your current graphics drivers from the system registry. Installing a fresh, thoroughly updated driver package ensures your hardware is communicating flawlessly with the modified game engine. If absolutely every previous step fails, the core registry pathways and file structures of your installation are likely beyond manual repair. You must perform a completely clean uninstallation, which involves manually deleting the main directory and all associated save folders hidden in your documents. After scrubbing the system clean, reinstall the base game and carefully rebuild your modification list following our guidelines. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.